There's a lot of music out there, so much so that it is impossible to consume even a decent fraction of it. But I am in a unique position doing research for my YouTube channel and just looking for new sounds and inspirations that I end up finding these gems that I often go on to listen to for weeks and even months. So I'm gonna start sharing them with y'all. Some are more popular than others, but it is mostly non-mainstream stuff that I think definitely deserve that extra listen. Let's start a bit weird since it is my most recent obsession.
Hatsune Miku, voice synthesization software. What is a Vocaloid?
It's a fake woman. Vocaloid was created from Japan's Krypton Future Media, which really just means Japan made it.
Most popular Vocaloid at the moment, you know who it is, Hatsune Miku. We got cosplays, we got drawings, we got weird people on Tumblr and Pinterest.
Let's reserve judgment for a second. I am not a weeb and I can't explain. This anime edit was thrown at me while I was responding to some IG DMs. By the way, go follow me there. I post the best content their website has to offer. The track behind the edit had something about it that made me want to understand what was going on. I looked through the comments trying to find the name of the track and I actually found 3. The original and 2 remixes. The one in this AMV is the sped up version of a remix. Then of course there's the remix. And finally the original. The remixes, they focus on the chorus. Nothing wrong with that, they sound awesome, but I do prefer the original. It is incredibly well produced. The contrast between the sections that have less energy and the sections that have more energy serve to elevate the chorus, so much so that when it hits, I'm just struck by this huge wave of emotion. But what is it? Is it just some anime type beat? Well, I did my research and I found out that it's actually 2 things, J-pop and Vocaloid. But isn't Vocaloid I've known about Vocaloids for the longest time because, well, I attended anime conventions when I was like 11, but even though I've seen these cosplays everywhere, I never understood it. But now, because of this song, I have done a huge deep dive into Vocaloids, a vocal synthesizer. You can pick a performer and create your own lyrics and vocal harmonies. Hatsune Miku is the most popular performer, and Kagamine Rin is the performer used by siinamota for the track I'm highlighting today. After you pick the language, you can pick a performer, and then you are set to start doing some crazy stuff. I watched a couple of tutorials like this one and was blown away by all the possibilities. You can of course create a vocal performance, but you can do so much more, like create vocal layers, change the lyrics, the rhythm, make your own vocal samples for you to chop later on. It can get nutty. I know that this opens a whole can of worms, especially now because you have producers that are creating full-on AI Drake tracks that sound indistinguishable from the real deal, but I think it's still valid. I do understand the skepticism. When I first figured out that it wasn't an actual person singing the song and it was a vocal synthesizer, I was a bit bummed out. But if that's the way that the producer chose to express the song, this amazing song, then I'm fine with it, because at the end of the day, the only thing that needs to be real here is, and that is the way the song makes the listener feel. Well, now I'm gonna talk about another 3 tracks, and I promise that they won't take as long as this one did. Saint PEPSI, pretty much the undisputed vaporwave GOAT. When you think about vaporwave, most of it's simple. Just slow down your sample a lot. There are vaporwave tracks that do a bit more with the chopping of the sample and then some creative arrangement, but overall, it is always on the basis of a sample. And that is one of the reasons why I find the track Field Day by Saint PEPSI so special. After I listened to the album Empire Building, I was able to find every single sample used except one. And after doing some research into Field Day, it appears that it doesn't have a sample. Let me know if I'm wrong about that. Regardless, my research led me to a few sound design subreddits that were discussing how the sounds of the track were designed, furthering my belief that it isn't a sample. And if the track that I've listened to the most from PEPSI for the past 2 years doesn't have a sample, I'm gonna be... And yeah, it makes sense. Who is to say that you can't make your own 80s track, then slow that down, throw some reverb on it, and make your own vaporwave track from scratch? Anyway, amazing album, amazing song, the feeling is just indescribable. Let's continue this train of strong emotional tracks with I actually found this track after Vince Staple tweeted about it. After I listened to the track, it was love at first listen. The way the track meshes this array of sounds throughout its arrangement is inspiring to say the least. And I think more importantly, it pushed me to listen to some more Toro, someone I've heard a lot about but never, took the time to listen to his whole discography, which is criminal considering who he is and who I am. Jazz Bear, or Toro, is often recognized as a spearhead of the chill wave genre in the 2010s. The whole chill wave vibe and aesthetic is something that I inherently love. His most popular tracks are masterpieces. And he also has a ton of less popular songs like Mirage that are just gems. So now to me, Jazz Bear is up there with the likes of FKJ, Gali Matias, and some Gallatry, and a few others as the super producers, incredibly versatile music makers that do styles that are ultimately what I want to be able to produce. Yes, I am struggling trying to learn 15 different genres at once because of it, but hopefully it pays off. Because whenever I'm able to make the variety of tracks with the variety of sounds that they can make, I think I'll finally feel pretty accomplished as a music producer. But let's finish this off with the mandatory Dilla mention. I've been looking through a bunch of old Dilla stuff, just trying to find stuff that, one, gives me nostalgia, and two, that I can turn into breakdowns. I honestly haven't found much that I haven't considered for a breakdown yet, because the most interesting unreleased beats or rare Dilla stuff that I found are fairly simple, but what I did find was a beat that I saved like 7 years ago. It isn't a beat from Dilla, but it is an homage to Dilla. He uses a Dilla interview snippet as the intro, and I think what Dilla says kinda encapsulates all the tracks that I've talked about today. They are all in different genres, but they all have that emotional weight that attaches me to a track and makes me overlook any technical issues that they may have, because they excel in the only thing that matters, which is evoking a feeling.
When I make my music, I want people to feel what I feel. I want them to feel that energy that whatever it was. Yeah, that's all it is. Because I make it straight from the heart. So it's like, to be taken for anything else is crazy.